All right, good stuff, living environment fans. Today is the last Friday of regular classes. A little bittersweet because I think I heard this song and I may not get to play it for you again. Anyway, let's do this last Friday of classes Bellringer. All right. Hey now. Mr. Kovacs class. It's Mr. Kovacs class. You might learn a ton. It's Mr. Kovacs class.
It's interesting too.
It's Mr. Kovacs class. And he's super cool. It's Mr. Kovacs class. The Regents loves the immune system. It loves immunity. Why? Because I think it incorporates so much of what we've learned. Because the immune system relies on, cells, cell cycle, a lot of cell membrane action, enzymes. So it's a quick review of immunity. And of course, the first cell you need to know about are the macrophages. These are the big eating cells. They're the ones that go around and all the time are checking. What they check are the different markers on the cell membrane proteins, right? Well, here we go. That's the picture I want. Cell membranes have protein markers, which we call antigens. And if you have the right, it's like an ID tag. If you have the right antigen, you're allowed to exist in the cell. If you don't, then the macrophage comes and eats you, right? He checks your ID. He literally, right? If you got the wrong ID tag, if you got the wrong antigen, he's going to say, I'm time to take you out. I call him the Judge Dredd of cells. He's judge, jury, and executioner. We have lots of different types of immune cells, including these macrophages. But the ones that the Regents really likes are the, what do we call adaptive immunity cell, the ones that allow you to remember. And these are the ones that there's two of them. There's B cells that build antibodies, right? And then there's T cells, which are the killer cells that cause other cells to do apoptosis, right? These are what we call specialized, specific cells because they each match one specific kind of pathogen, right? And don't forget, all these guys travel around in the circulatory system and the lymphatic system, right? Lymphatic systems where they hang out, but when they're needed to get to where they go, they hop in your circulatory system to get there quickly. So we call them white blood cells, when really we should call them immune cells. They're not really blood cells. They're not carrying oxygen or carbon dioxide or any of that stuff. To illustrate all this stuff about antibodies and antigens, they always talk about the blood types, A, B, and O. And what those blood types means are what antigens are on the surface of those cells. If you're type A, you have A antigens. If you're type B, you have B antigens. If you're AB, you have both. And if you're O, you have none. Okay? But not only that, you have circulating in your blood antibodies. Right? So if you're type A, you've got anti-B. If you're type B, you have anti-A. If you're AB, you don't have any. And if you're type O, you have anti-A and anti-B. Right? So what that means is if you need a blood transfusion, if you're type A, we can give you type A blood or type O blood. Neither of those will trigger your antibodies. But if I gave you type B, right, you have anti-Bs. If I give you type AB, you have anti-Bs. That will cause your blood to coagulate and clump up for macrophages to eat them. Right? So that's why it's important to know your blood type for blood transfusions. And they love to ask about blood types on the Regents. So remember, blood types are determined by the antigens on the surface of those cells. And of course, blood type is just an adaptation, right? And so, as I've mentioned before, if you think evolutionarily, genes, the reason people have different blood types is different mutations have popped up at different times. And genes tend to stay in areas because people tend to marry people they live near. So you find a greater proponent of, let's say, O blood in the Americas nowadays than you do over in Europe, let's say, where you'll find more B's and A's. And that's just a little quirk of evolution, is that, yeah, we call that genetic drift, right? Where blood types, or at least certain protein genes, stay in certain areas and are more likely to be found in certain areas, which I just find fascinating. Of course, I hope you find all this fascinating. I know I do. And today, so we're reviewing immune system, immunity, and then we'll do some Regents practice, and then that'll be it for this week. And then next week, 2 days of class, then Regents Day.